When I'm not checking things off my bucket list and adding new revisions, I like to answer questions that I get on YouTube, so let's get to it. Bro, Rick Beato dissed you hard last night on his live stream. Check it out. So many of you have alerted me to the fact that another YouTuber, Rick Beato, who has kind of like a music theory based channel, dissed me on his second channel, on his live feed. And when I first heard it, I was like super excited. I'm like, this is great. I think a lot of you know, since I feature salty comments about myself all the time, ripping on myself is one of my favorite pastimes. So I was excited. I was maybe gonna get like a cool beef started, a cool fun-loving beef. So then I checked it out, and what happened was, apparently he had this picture saved of me on his computer that he showed, and he started like ripping on me because I like have a tuner and a capo on my headstock for some reason. Weird thing to rip on. And I was like, okay, it's kind of weird, but all in good fun or whatever. But then like he just had this picture of me up, and he like went like really hard. Like he went like all in, and he made several times he was like, I don't know who this guy is. And then he just started calling me like names and stuff, which I think there's like a huge distinction here between if you know who somebody is, and then you're ripping on them, that's totally different than not knowing who somebody is and then just having a picture of them up on your channel and then like making fun of them. Like I am all for like people being like, hey, Sean Daniels a douche. I approve all those comments, I invite them, I welcome them, and I support them. But when you're taking just like somebody who you don't know and then just like ripping on them with like a following that you have, I think that's like a total dick move, and it's just like total bully culture, and that's something I am so not down with. I don't know. I think it just really shows you kind of like the true makeup of a person personally, because it's not even about me at that point. It's about just somebody that like you don't even know, and I don't know. I just think it's kind of messed up. I'll always be featuring salty comments about myself because like when you troll somebody on the internet, which happens all the time, like if you're in the comment section, like you're at least acknowledging that there's like an interaction here. Like I'm watching this guy's video, something triggered me, as ridiculous and as stupid as it may have been, and I'm kind of like responding to that. Again, hiding behind the anonymity of like an avatar or common thing on the internet is something that we've always been trying to shine light on in like a humorous way here. But I think that is even like a step above like just trolling someone who like isn't even there. I don't know, cowardly thing to do. Whatever. I always thought that it would be cool to have like a YouTube beef, and initially I kind of wanted to clap back on it a little bit, but I guess the more I think about it, I really just wanted like a good-natured like Jimmy Kimmel, Matt Damon beef. So I'm still up for something like that. But other than that, I just try to approach everything with like a lot of positivity. I don't talk a lot of crap on this channel, except when it's about Kiss. Kiss truly does suck. Hate Kiss. Always will hate Kiss. But a lot of that is just because I have firsthand information that Gene Simmons is like an awful human being. But if I ever say something sucks, I always kind of like preface it with like, I have a lot of respect. Like when I say like Toto sucks, it's like, okay, I have the utmost respect for those guys. I'm just kind of like playing around, not my thing, whatever. So again, that's all I'm really gonna say on this issue. But yeah, kind of messed up, I guess. This is BS. Every blues song ever in 8 minutes, there are so many different ones played different. You have no clue about the blues. Oh my God, that feels so much better. Thank you so much for putting things in perspective. If the chord we're making dominant is E minor, why wouldn't it change to E minor 7? Why would it become an E7? So this is kind of an extension to the video I made a few days ago about like whether you're in a major key and a minor key and how you kind of like resolve back to the one chord. Great way to find that out is if you resolve back to, like again, if we're in the key of G, if you resolve to G, the dominant chord there is 5 away, right? G, A, B, C, D. D7 resolves to G. Now, if you're in its relative minor, right? This is just kind of like a brief recap of what that whole video was about. So if you're in a relative minor, E minor, the resolution, one way to get yourself to a resolution from there is take 5 notes away from E, all right? So if we go E, F sharp, G, A, B, we could go B7 to E minor. Okay, now a lot of you are asking, like, why can't we just take the regular minor 7, B minor 7 to E minor? I mean, that totally works and you can do it. The reason that there's a B dominant 7 and we're introducing the major third, the majorness of that B chord, which should be a minor chord in the key that we're in, is because that minor third has a lot of pull on where we're going, right? So in the case of B, a B minor third is this note right here. A D, a B major third would be a D sharp, right? Now the reason that that major third is helping us get back to E minor is because you may have already figured it out. D sharp is right there to E. So even though it's not the root note of the chord, that major third of the dominant chord leads us into the root note of the relative minor or the home key in a minor key. So hopefully that cleared up some confusion. I know a lot of you answered stuff in the comments too about that, which is super helpful. I love it when the comments are more of like a forum and a community to help answer questions for things that maybe I just kind of like overlooked or didn't have time to get to in the video. So keep the questions coming, and I respect everybody who tries to help and answer those questions within the community. Keep it up. Is that a wig? I love that there's a growing trend to thinking that this is somehow a wig that I would pay money for on this channel. Really, it's really a great addition to the comments that have been coming in. Hey Sean, great stuff like always. Just wanted to ask, how do you mic this setup? So every now and then I get questions about the mic setup for the acoustic guitar covers, and generally it's always the same thing. It's AT40, Audio-Technica AT40, that is usually just outside the frame on the vocalist, whether it's, on Andrea, Ali, Kindred, whoever. And then I've got a Neumann KM184 that you can usually see in the frame on the acoustic guitar. Generally, the Neumann isn't in the mix a whole lot. A lot of it is really just that AT4050, awesome microphone. And then post-production, really not a lot of stuff on there. I have a Native Instruments passive EQ on the master track, which just kind of adds, it's a good way to kind of like remove some of, the mid-range, the muddiness in there. And then I have like a bus compressor on there. And then sometimes a little, like really just a little bit of the Chroma Reverb plugin in Logic. And then Waves L3 limiter. And that's pretty much it. So not a lot of post-production is on there, which I have learned because I used to kind of mistakenly put a lot more post-production into it, like in the early covers, if you've been with the channel for a while. I think it just kind of sounds better to have it as raw and natural as possible. So really just a little bit of EQ, compression, reverb, and then limiting just to kind of get the volume up. And that's pretty much it. But honestly, that Neumann mic is really only in there to kind of capture a lot of the low end of the guitar is really kind of what it does best, because if you can really just take that mic out, and the AT4050 does a really great job of kind of picking up the room ambiance. So don't think that you need like super crazy expensive gear to kind of do all this stuff. If you want to do like an acoustic cover, one microphone placed in the right spot can usually pick up a vocalist and a guitar player pretty well. When temperatures outside range from 80 degrees to 100 degrees, the temperature inside a car parked in direct sunlight can quickly climb to between 130 and 172 degrees. Sean, seriously, that Breedlove still works. So this is in response to the revelation that I keep this Breedlove C250 in my car at all times in Florida, where it is often in direct sunlight. And that is such a huge no for anybody who really cares about the guitar. This is really just kind of like a teaching guitar that I have, because it's always just good to have it in the car. It has saved me and is helpful in so many situations that I guess you could call this like my, like beater guitar that, is in there. To its credit, it somehow miraculously has survived the temperature and still sounds good and stays in tune. Like, I don't know. Breedlove C250, man. If you want something that gets the job done and goes through an insane amount of abuse, I would recommend this. You can tell and you can smell that the glue has melted at certain points in the guitar. If you look in there, you can actually kind of see like the glue and how it's reformed. But hey, I'm not gonna argue with it. It still gets the job done. And man, it has taken a beating. So I would never recommend leaving your guitar in the car like this. I'm in a fortunate position where I can have, like a decent guitar that I can afford to kind of abuse, that has helped me out many times. But hey, I'm gonna keep it in the car. This is a rare occasion for this to be indoors. And it's really soaking it in for all it's worth right now. So yeah, Breedlove, Passport, solid guitars, decent price too. So for listening homework this week, I'm gonna link you to a song by a band named Ariel Pink. Definitely cool band. Vibing a lot. As always, if you have any comments or questions, hit me up in the comment section. Instagram, Twitter, the website. I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.